Good evening. Welcome to AMFAW number 31. You have Ted from the AMFAW Network, and you have Colonel David Wilhoit with the AMFAW Network and Kentucky Guns and Fun. So, like always, I want to thank you guys for tuning in and hanging in with us. And we're going to start this episode, like we start every episode, with a Bible verse, and I believe the good Colonel, has that available. So, it's all you, Colonel.
Yes, sir, I sure do. Today's Bible verse is going to be from Proverbs chapter 22, verse 4. The verse reads, "Humility is the fear of the Lord. Its wages are riches and honor and life."
That's an awesome one right there. That is a really, really good one. So I want to, something just popped into my brain here that I want to bring to everybody's attention, because this is right in our wheelhouse with kind of what the AMFAW network is about. So I got a friend request on Facebook from a guy named Tom Pollock, and that is Pawlak. Tom is the common spelling. And he started a Facebook page that's called Mission Restore Bronze. And so I know you guys have ever been in a cemetery and you've seen those bronze veterans markers that they put, that the U.S. government gives all veterans' families to commemorate their service to the country. And they have it's a bronze marker given to you by the government to your family, and it's got your where you served and your rank and all that on it. Really, really neat little deal. Well, Tom is selflessly volunteering his time, and he's got a network of folks that go in there. And for just a few bucks in materials, you can go to the cemetery. First, you make a trip to Ace Hardware, get you some masking tape and the right color paint and a little bit of sandpaper, and they go around and they clean those bronze markers up and they restore them to where they look like new. And no cost to the family, of course. It's just one of those things that they do because it's the right thing to do. Like I said, that puts it right into AMFAW's wheelhouse. So do us all a favor. Go to mission : restore bronze, or friend him on Facebook. His name is Tom Pollock, Pawlak. There are instructions there on how to do it. And if you want to go send him a private message telling me AMFAW channel sent you, I'm going to volunteer for this. I'm going to go buy the materials, and when I get some good weather and some time on my hands, I'm going to go out to the local cemetery, and I'm going to pay homage to some of those deceased veterans, and I'm going to tell them thank you for their service by clearing that marker up. And I think that's a really good, honorable project, and it really doesn't cost anything but a little bit of time. What's your thoughts on that, Colonel?
Man, I tell you what, Ted, that right there is a project that hits home in my heart. My father, being a veteran, the Project Bronze is going to be something that is going to go on with me from now on. Now that you've introduced that to me, I just want to make sure that everybody that's watching right now, Tom Pollock, Pawlak, is that the name?
Yes, that's his name. Yep, and on Facebook. And he does not have a YouTube channel. He doesn't have a G Plus account. He is strictly on Facebook. Some of our viewers don't have Facebook. That's cool, because I'm happy to take up his project. I'm happy to run him on the AMFAW channel. I've got his phone number here off of his Facebook page. I'll put a phone call into him and see if maybe we can't further his cause along with AMFAW, because that is, like I said, that is right here where we live. That's it's the right thing to do. It doesn't cost us anything, and it's not about being a veteran or former or active duty or anything like that. It's a way of saying, hey, thank you for going out there and putting yourself in harm's way for this country.
Ted, do you want me to tell you where I see this is going to make somebody's day when they go and take their time of their day to go and pay homage to their loved ones, and they walk up and this has been done for them, and it's not tarnished the way it gets. I mean, this is going to make somebody's day for sure. So
it absolutely will. And just imagine grandmother, daughter, somebody going out there to put flowers on Pop's grave or Mom's grave, as far as that goes, and seeing that marker beautifully restored, they're going to think, wow, they put a new marker out here. That was very nice of them. And they'll never know that Mission Restore Bronze volunteer or an AMFAW volunteer went out there, because I'm absolutely going to sidle right up next to this guy, and I'm going to make his mission our mission. And I think that we can work hand in hand. And he wants you to send photos, 3 before and 1 after, 1 or 2 after, so he can profile it on his Facebook page. Do better than that. You put a video of yourself doing it, and I'll put it on the AMFAW network. Absolutely, every single time one of you guys do it, we'll say I'll give you the link, the way to post this onto this channel, and we'll sexy the video up with a intro, and we'll plug your channel, and we'll march you right alongside the rest of us. So good project, and I said, you look at those markers after they've been restored, and you would think that somebody spent just hundreds and hundreds of dollars on that, and it's literally less than probably $20 worth of material at Ace Hardware that restored these things back new again, because it's chocolate brown enamel paint, some sandpaper to polish those letters back, get that bronze gleaming yellow again, and a little bit of clear UV resistant varnish that you put on top of it after it dries. So and some wire brushes and stuff, to clean it up. But while you've cleaned one up and you've painted it, you can move on to the next one. And by the time you get 2 or 3 of those done, and when you come back to the first one, it's ready to varnish. And literally within just a matter of a couple hours, you're in and out of the cemetery, and you've done a really, really good thing for somebody's family. So awesome stuff. Glad to really honored to be able to get in there and do that. I wish I'd thought up myself, because it's one of those things.
Glad to hear about something like that. And it's going to be. You just need to get me all the information that you have there in front of you, emails and anything else, and I'll go to Facebook. And I just want to say again, the Facebook name was Tom Pollock, Pawlak. So. Yep,
Tom Pollock, and I'm going to share that. I'm going to share that post with you right now, David. He's got the how-to on there. If you go to his page, you can scroll down. You'll see, Mission Restore Bronze on there, and he's got a lot of pictures and the how-tos on there. So send him a friend request. He'll absolutely pick you up. And I don't know if you remember, but the other night I put a picture, a meme picture of just a massive amount of guns in this guy's room, and it wasn't mine.
Yes. And I saw you said it wasn't yours, or you wish.
Yeah. I wish. Yeah. Well, he must have seen that picture, because he commented on it, and sent me a private message that asked me, was that a Browning sitting in the foreground? I told him yes, it was. Unfortunately, though, it's not mine, because I'm that was. I told him, we just kind of do that to kind of get on our buddies every once in a while, and so I'm sure he got it. As a matter of fact, I got his. He actually sent me a PM on Facebook. So.
Well, good deal. I'll tell you what. As we were, trying to get a couple of people to be on tonight, I just got a text message back from Brandon 401 said that. He'd love to do it some other time. He just can't really do it right now. So that might be something that people would be interested in knowing. So
I've sent him a private message telling him we're talking about him on AMFAW. Maybe I can get him to jump in here with us and kind of speak the language with us.
Right. And then there was a couple other people that definitely want to, to be in on the chats for sure. Summertime, vacations and things are going on. But some folks that I talked to today that are definitely going to do it here in the next few weeks. I can't really specify the exact time, but we've got Brothers Keepers 111 that definitely wants to set in and chat with us one night. Who else was it that I talked to? Well, I just got the text message back from Brandon 401 that said he would do it once he gets set up and can do. He said he's not really set up to do chats right now, so that's something that, as we had kind of talked about today, some of the folks sometimes, is just like Anderson Manufacturing, we're kind of trying to work around making it to where people can be involved in this type of social
Well,
media.
well, he said he'd like to join us here, so let me, if you will, just kind of talk to our guest for a second while I send him some information.
Okay, sure. Um, well, I'll
Well,
tell you what.
about your Anderson visit and that video.
That's Yeah, that's what I was about to start talking about. I just recently put out the video this morning. I was able to take a tour of the Anderson manufacturing facility up in Hebron, Kentucky. Uh, it was set up by the AMFAW channel. They had been in touch with a couple of those people, went up there and just had an awesome time. Everybody that I met, I mean, the people, it's a family-owned business. They've got the owner. I met Mr. Anderson. He sat there and chatted with me for at least 25 or 30 minutes. I mean, we could have sat there for hours. He was like, listen, I know you need to go do other stuff and you want to do other stuff before we close. So leave my office and go out there and see what these guys are going to show you. But the way, the process of machining all this material, the I don't know, the level of quality control. I mean, it kind of started out there in the video. We stopped by a quality control station, and John Miles was trying to explain to somebody, a layman such as myself, you know, what's going on with this actual machine and the different points that it's checking. And it was so far over my head, but being over my head, they brought it down to a level that I could understand. Um, for
That little
example,
machine was very, very cool. They had it was measuring, I mean, to the nth degree. You see it kind of twirling around on all those little points and kind of
yes,
touching here and
sir.
there. And they did a very, very good job explaining how it worked too. So I mean, that's an awesome little piece of equipment there because everybody else does it with a pair of mics.
Yeah, no, I mean, and we talked about mil spec and you know the definition of mil spec and what that actually means in the grand scheme of things. And mil spec has a real loose tolerance level. If anybody that's truly ever been in the military or knows what's going on there, I think that's what they'll say is that there's a lot of room for wiggle. Uh, I guess wiggle would be the best way to put it. There is room for noise and shakage, and there's going to be. It's not tight. I guess would be the best way to describe it. And you might
Well,
be able
and
to expand on that, Ted.
absolutely. The reason they're not tight is because they know a soldier's weapon is going to be in the sand and it's going to be in the mud and it's going to be in the field and if you get those tolerances super 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 tight, then that's going to grind that machine to a halt. So they have to. You got to remember these things are designed to put in the hands of an AT. Excuse me. Awesome tuna fish salad for supper. These things are made to go into the hands of 18, 19-year-old infantrymen. And so mil spec, although it's rugged, and that's what you want in a firearm, you absolutely want it to be rugged. Mil
Sure.
spec is rugged. And then when they say something is mil spec, that's what they mean. It's built rugged. It's built to grunt proof. Uh, but USA mil spec.
That doesn't mean timber, or that doesn't
No, no.
mean that doesn't mean the tightness of an Ed Brown, you know, or some other high quality. I mean, there's differences in the manufacturing of something that's mil spec versus something that's meant to be paid for
Mil
top
spec is
dollar from
middle
the
of the road.
consumer.
Mil spec is middle of the road. Mil spec is not junk, but it's not. Well, a lot of times it is a cult, but it's not H&K tolerances. You know what I mean? It's not over engineered. It's
Right.
it's made to be rugged, reliable, and ready to rock and roll. And a lot of these manufacturers, like Anderson, they exceed that mil spec. So these parts are built a little bit. The steel's a little bit harder. The barrels are a little bit better. The cooling systems got a little bit wider orifices and openings in them. So that kind of if you can exceed mil spec, you've done good. Mil spec is a starting point. So I guess that's a good way to say it. Mil spec is a starting point for a lot of these better top end gun manufacturers.
Well, as I was talking with the tour guides there, John and Jeremy, you know, they talked about a torture test that Oak Ridge Laboratories had put on. A leading gun manufacturer, name not to be mentioned, challenged the Anderson Manufacturing R85 AR to a torture test. And so the way the test started, each gun was put in whatever condition that they felt that gun needed to be in, whether it was lubricated, non-lubricated, whatever. So the leading manufacturer who initiated this challenge, their gun, they put it, and I'm sure that there is a way that they have to feed these guns the ammo that they're doing, because the number of rounds that's going through them, it's not somebody putting in a magazine one after another. I don't think there's some way that they're getting this number of rounds. But after 900 rounds, about an hour's time, the first gun, the leading manufacturer, failed. And so that's where they cut off. The Anderson Manufacturing weapon, after 4 hours of firing, over 4,000 rounds of ammunition, had burned off 2 handguards.
Wow.
The standard handguards. And that's the thing I want to mention. Please, the links are in the description of the video. Go watch these torture test video and look at the condition of this weapon. When you look at the bolt carrier and everything else involved, there is no damage. They had to stop the test, Ted, because the gun was firing ammunition without anything. The trigger didn't need to be pulled. It was so hot, the grip.
It was hot. It was cooking off. Yeah, runaway gun.
Runaway gun. The pistol grip had caught fire. The gun was it became unsafe. So the test had to be stopped. And I think 42-38, I think off the top of my head, is where it stopped.
Sure. Now I remember.
Again, you look at the pictures after that of the carnage to all the parts in the gun, and that gun, you still put it back together and still would run, guaranteed.
I remember being a young infantryman back, 19, 20 years old, and getting a chance to click an M16, and this is the old A1s now. This is the ones with the triangular handguards and all that. And I remember putting those things and getting a chance to just a few of us. You're coming in off of a field problem, and at the end of that solution, if you've got ammo, a lot of times, especially if you've gone to a live fire range or something like that, they're going to let you burn ammo, all right? Because they don't want to turn it in. They want to burn it. So I remember them throwing me a bunch of magazines one time. Everybody had a bunch of 30-rounders loaded up. And I'm stuffing these things in that old, and what I had was an old turd. You could shake it like this, and you could hear stuff rattling around in it. It was sloppy. So I'd stuff one 30-rounder in there, and I'd burn it to the ground. I'd drop it, and I'd slam another one in there, and I'd burn it to the ground, and I'd drop it. And in those days, I smoked Marlboro Reds.
Uh-huh.
When I got done, David, I could light a Marlboro Red off the flash hider.
Wow.
That's how hot it was. You almost couldn't hold your face up close enough to it to light a cigarette. But I want to say that was about 10 mags, maybe 9, 10 mags. Just one right after another, as fast as you could burn them through there. And did I drop off? Or did the video drop out?
You dropped for 1 second there, but it came right back. So yeah, I mean that was a little quick. So I don't know if it was you, me, but yes, there was a glitch for 1 second.
So and just the amount of time it took to burn, through 10 mags, as fast as I could stuff them in and pull the trigger, I could light a cigarette off of it. And I want to say that was no more than about 300, 400 rounds. Imagine 10 times that. Yeah, no, and I know how hot that gun got. that barrel had to be transparent hot at that point.
They do say that you can actually see the shell and
the round going through the barrel. Yeah,
right. There's a shadow through the glow of you're looking at a glowing red barrel, and that you.
Well, and then you've got a round that's essentially cool going through there, and now the round is cooler than the barrel when it goes through there. So it starts working in opposite. You're actually using the ammo to cool the barrel down now instead of heat it up.
Right. Well, that was just amazing to me to listen to him talk about, that type of stuff, to actually be right there and, see what's going on, the way these guys do it, the everybody at the plant or the facility, however you want to describe it. It's a three different buildings. They have three different, large buildings where all this process is taking place. But everybody through each phase that I ran across or encountered, just awesome people, family-owned business, USA made. They make it a point to make sure that all the product that comes in that they manufacture is from a USA company, and
And so
that's part of
you're
their
going to have
ethics too.
you're going to be hosting this chat next week, and I understand you're going to have some of those folks on as our guests, correct?
That is correct. I talked with Jeremy today. He actually called me. Since I put the video up about Anderson and got the approval to show that video, explained to him what we do here every Tuesday and asked them if they could come on next Tuesday. And it was a big heck yes. They want to. They appreciate the AMFAW channel coming in and taking video and showing them. The I'm not sure that everybody understands, as far as the market. I mean, the gun market right now, it seems like consumers are really never, the middle people are always kind of stuck, and that's kind of what's going on with the gun market right now. As I talked with Mr. Anderson, there, and it was stated that the best salesperson they had was the current president, and that's the best way I can put it.
Yeah,
So
I get that.
the best salesperson they had was him, but the downside is that once the people quit buying, at a certain point everything gets back to more normal. Well, more normal equals there's a lot of product that's been pushed from a manufacturing facility to a middle person that needs to get to a gun store or sold to me or you. And it's out there, whether it's in a full rifle or if it's in the components. The components, just talking with Mr. Anderson, the components are not really necessarily in any problem right now. They're moving. Everybody might be buying those, but the full rifles are starting to become a product that's not moving. So there was a push to build because of the demand, and so the supply and demand, everything is equaling out, I guess it would be. So everybody needs to, if you're wanting a gun, now's a good time to be going and looking at picking up a rifle, because they need to get rid of them.
And if you want to build a gun, I can't think of a better starting platform than an Anderson lower. So the Alabama Owens, at his local gun shop, the guy he deals with all the time up there, had a couple of these things in there for $50 each is what he bought these lowers for.
Wow.
So, he and I started kind of horse trading a little bit right off the beginning when we first ran across each other, because even though we have the same last name, we're not related. And
right.
So we share common interests. We share a common belief system. I believe in my heart that we share the same blood somewhere. And so who knows? Maybe we have mutual grandfathers. Who knows?
Right.
But so in the beginning, he was he's a prepper. So I had what I do is when I buy something for my preps, I always buy more than I need if it's a really good deal. And I come across those military sleep systems. You know what I'm talking about? The ones that got the 3 bags and the waterproof bag on the outside?
Yes, sir.
I come across a guy that had like a half a dozen of these, and he wanted $20 a throw for them.
Wow.
So I snatched them all up, giving most of them away. I've got 1 or 2 left. But I said, so we started kind of horse trading a little bit, and I sent him a sleeping bag and a little stuff, stuff that he could use.
Right.
Well, out of gratitude, he sent to my FFL a serial numbered Anderson lower that he got for $50. So he was more than happy to do that, because I sent him more than $50 worth of stuff, I think.
Sure.
And so trade. So I went down there, paid the $10. Well, actually, no, my FFL don't charge me, but it'd be about $10 to transfer one if somebody sent it in, $10-15, depending on what kind of relationship you have with your firearms dealer. So I did the transfer, brought it home, and I actually did a build video on on an Anderson lower, and I could be mistaken the chronology here, but that's how what I believe happened. So then the Alabama Owens built one on an Anderson lower, and then he bought a couple more, and then he bought a couple more, and then one of them went in the AMFAW giveaway, and Jarhead 6, we transferred one to him. I built, he did. I got the lower. He didn't know how to build it, so I built the lower for him, sent it to him, and he of course got to get his upper. But the thing is I've compared these things side by side with some high-end lowers that I've got, some billet lowers, and other than being cast, tolerances are dead on. And my son, both two of my oldest sons are machinists, and when I asked them to get a pair of their mic calipers out and start kind of measuring this stuff over there, there's no difference. There's no difference other than one is milled out of a piece of solid, billet aluminum, and the other one's cast. And even when the ones that are cast into a solid block of aluminum. So is it a billet? Well, yeah, it kind of is. It's a billet shaped like a receiver that they mill out. At the end of the day, aluminum's aluminum. To my mind, I'm not a metallurgist, don't get me wrong, but
Right.
I think aluminum is aluminum. I mean, I don't know. It's not made out of styrofoam.
Well, and you agreed, and I'm not a metallurgist in any way, but one thing I do know is that I'm pretty sure, and I know this to be true, and I don't think that it's any type of secret, that um, Anderson makes parts for other companies. So I think that that's a known thing. They make parts for other companies. And so, with that being said, that they're a manufacturer of particular types of gun parts that
So
other
they have to
companies.
maintain those same tolerances because they have that quality control that somebody else is going to put their name on, and they don't want that reputation to get sullied. And I get that. Yeah.
Yes, they have to do whatever they have to do because of that. They have multiple relationships that they're going to maintain, and they're going to take care of whatever they need to do to take care of their customers at the larger level. And then turned around to our level, the guys that were walking me around the shop, I mean, they actually put together the weapons that you and I get if we go to buy them. I mean, those guys showed me I've got a gun porn video that nobody is, I don't even know if I can get it out.
So the next one I want to build, and I'm going to build. Well, actually, not the next one I'm going to build. The next one I want to build, because I'm building an M4. I want a mil spec, mil quality, mil identical to a good friend of mine. He's actually in one of the AMFAW videos, but he is a 4-tour infantry tour combat Marine veteran. He was an officer in a JSOC unit, just a stellar individual. And he has a lower right now that he wanted to put an M4 upper on. So, but it's not the right color. He wants it. He wants me to build the exact same gun. He wants me and him to build the exact same gun that he would have carried in Afghanistan. So he kind of gave me the specs, ordered all the parts, and then he's going to come over and we're going to assemble it. And so I'm going to build a military M4 clone for him. But
Right.
after that, I want to build the absolute, without a doubt, the lightest carbine, the lightest fighting carbine that I can build. I'm gonna weigh the trigger group. I'm gonna weigh the pistol grip. I'm gonna weigh the upper, the lower, the hand guard, the gas tube. If I can shave a fraction of an ounce off of each part, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna make the lightest gun that I can make, and that's gonna be the next carbine, M4 type or fighting carbine in that AR platform that I build. It's gonna be the Jenny Craig version.
Well, I'm looking forward to. I mean, I sent the lower. I was the lucky winner of the AMFAW's 1,000 subscriber giveaway, so I won that Anderson lower, and I've sent that away to have some work done on it that I can't personally do. So I'm looking forward to getting that back, and it'll be my first AR build.
I've got an Anderson lower sitting here that I want to get with you offline and find out when you get yours in, you're going to do a vid on it, right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
All right,
sir.
all right. So I'll wait till you get it in, and I'll get on your vid, and I will patronize that same guy to have mine done the same way because I know what you're doing on yours. It's going to be pretty cool, and there's no way I'm not going to let one of my own guns have that wear the same panties.
Same mark, yeah. No, I
Yeah,
can
yeah.
understand that. Yeah, no, it's going to look nice. I think it's the way it's a simplistic but significant design. The way I see it, that's the way that would be the way I would phrase it. It's
Did you ever?
simplistic.
I got you the picture right that you were looking for. You did get that right.
Yes, sir. I did.
Okay, good, good,
Yeah,
good.
everything has been sent, and at this point, we're just waiting on somebody to put it to a laser, and then they're going to actually send me a rendering of it before it happens. So I could say no, or I want you to change this or that.
There
Um,
is a company that had a video come out from SHOT Show called Unique ARs, and they take the aluminum foregrip tubes, those solid aluminum free floater tubes,
uh-huh.
and they will put your design in that tube. They'll cut it into that tube all the way around. So I had sent them Unique ARs. The salesman's name is Jeff Skillern, Skillern, and they're up in Idaho, I believe. And so I had him do artwork with the word AMFAW on the hand grip cut through that tubing. And
Right.
so the way it's the way it is you can actually still put your rails on those forks, even with the AMFAW on the side of it, and it ought to be pretty cool. It's not going to be lightweight. It's not. It can't be the Jenny Craig gun, but yeah, something along those lines right there. Yes, sir.
You'd have AMFAW cut right
But it
into the
would
side
say
there.
AMFAW right into the side right there on two sides, and then at the 12 o'clock and the 6 o'clock position would be pick rail, for bipod or optics or night vision or whatever.
Let
So
me ask you a question while you're talking about that right there. This foregrip right here. I mean, nothing's been put together. It, I, the only thing that's going to go on top of this weapon is the front sight. Any optic is going to go back here. So I'm going to leave the full rail down on the lower side and just put this small rail up top. Is
right.
this in screen where you can see what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah, I'm feeling you.
So, I mean, does that have any kind of look that looks? Man, I'll tell you what, I get a lot of terrible comments about like my M&P 15 and just the way that I've got the optic on it or the way this is. I mean, people get ugly when they start talking about these type guns.
If you were going to use it for hog
Take it.
hunting or something like that, and you might put a night vision optic in front of your normal glass. So on my precision gun, my long range precision gun, I've got that Vortex Viper PST scope 6024. It's a beast, 50 millimeter reticle on it. So I wouldn't swap that out and put night vision on it to hog hunt at range. What I would do is I would put a night vision device that would mate or marry up to my existing optics, and that is really the only time you're going to put anything in front of over that rail right there. Um, is when you're going to put night vision on it. Who's that? Bravo Company USA, or is that? I can't see.
It just says USA, made in USA.
I see. I see.
Yeah, it just says USA.
Awesome.
And then the dust cover, I'm going to get a dust cover that's got, I don't know if I'm going to go to the extent of getting the AMFAW deal that I'm getting on the lower etched into it, but there's going to be something on the dust cover that's going to be a little special. This gun right here, this is going to be a little bit special. I won several pieces from the AMFAW.
Is that the upper?
This is the upper, yes, sir.
Okay.
This is an Aries armor. This is a compensator because every one of these holes I've got a set screw to put in. Once I get this thing set up and lined up, we'll be putting set screws in to have it pushed and pulled in any direction we want as far as the
So you don't have to time it. You can put it on there until the crush washer crushes, and then put set screws in there to kind of block off the ports you don't want to use.
10-4.
That is tasty. That's ingenious too.
Yeah, Aries armor. I mean, I won this from Fate of Destiny. Fate of Destiny, when she had a 50,000 subscriber contest, it was amazing. She gave away so many things. I was a 10th or 12th winner, and
I contributed to that.
I won that. I won several. I mean, very, very nice items, man. I tell you, YouTube is the community that we're in, Ted, and the people that we. I understand everybody has to deal with, people saying ugly things at different times for different reasons, but all in all, for the most part, the friendships and the people that we get to meet, it's top notch.
I agree. That's how actually the Alabama Owens and I come across each other. So you're on Facebook and you're on YouTube. You're familiar with Mark III SMLE or Terrell Smoothbore A. Bear. He builds flintlock guns and
Yes,
black
sir.
powder
No,
stuff.
no,
So,
I know him. We Brothers Keeper 111 gave him and myself a shout out at the same time.
so
So I
he
know
and
him.
I are from the same town.
Oh, okay.
He used to work at my FFL dealer.
Wow, what a
And
small world! It's a
he's
small
since
world,
moved
man.
to Florida, but yeah. So, but we know each other personally. And so when
Wow,
Fate of Destiny did that 50,000 sub give out, one of the deals was you had to shout out 3 other small channels.
right?
Well, he shouted me. And so he shouted me, and I kind of started picking up his, subscribers, and then I was watching the Fate of Destiny thing, and I thought, well, this is a great thing. So I donated a loaded range bag, and I think a guy, Should I Be Here, I think was who it was, is his YouTube channel. He
Right,
won that thing, Ben. It was loaded. I had magazines and little cleaning kits, and I mean, it was loaded. You're ready to go to the range with this thing.
right,
And
right.
so everybody, all those guys. That's how the Alabama and Owens and I connected, and that's where this all kind of kicked off for me because I was not seriously into this. I didn't take it serious. It was just kind of a, hey, look what I did in my backyard kind of a thing. And then we start talking to some of these folks, and you start to see that, hey, we've got the same interest. We've got the same
Well,
belief. We've got the same mindset. I'm not the only prepper out there. Now I feel like I'm marching in a gay pride parade. I can come out of the closet and start waving my dehydrated food around.
hey, that's a good way to put it, man. Hey, listen, let me go on and tell anybody that's watching, dehydrated food eventually goes bad, okay? I did a video, and I put it out, eating some Mountain House food. The expiration date on that box of food is 2015. So all that food is going to be eaten this summer. I'm not out of food. I've not eaten myself out of house and home. I've already tasted it before that video. I got a lot. I mean, I got so many comments like, well, I don't know how much sense it makes to eat the stuff that you're prepping with, and this and this and this.
You got to
Well,
rotate your stock.
it goes bad. I mean, it goes bad next year. So it's on the top of the list. I'm going to have fun with it this year. We're going to camp with it. We're going to eat it. I mean, it's good stuff. I'm not going to let it go bad. I didn't buy it to let it go bad. Hopefully I never have to use it the way I've bought it for, but I mean, it's all going to get used.
I'm going to
So
put
I
it
just
like
want
my
to put that
grandfather
out
used to
there.
say. When I was a youngster, I got to live with my grandparents for a little while,
Uh-huh.
and so they had killed a hog. Now, as little kids, you see the piglets out there. To you, they're pets. All right. Now, you come home from school and you say, "Hey, what happened to all the pigs?" And "Shut up and eat your bacon" comes out of their mouth. You know what I'm talking about? So,
Yes, sir.
not necessarily in that order, but And so I had a conversation with him one time, or actually through my uncle, and the quote was, "There's nothing on this place we can't eat except for the dog, and we'll eat him if the winter gets hard enough." And I like this. So to my mind, I'm gonna get some beagles, and I'm gonna feed them well and get them fat because beagles get fat.
Right.
And when the power goes out, I'm just gonna put the big eye on them all day long.
I tell you what, I've got
How
the
you
beagle
doing,
door.
Flippy?
Take your beagle and breed it with a lab. That's the next best breed of dog. It's black with the white chest.
Is that illegal?
It's called a bigador. Let me go on and tell you,
A
they're trying
bigador.
a bigador. They're trying to get a breed. But I mean, as far as a dog goes, they are awesome animals. my wife is a special education school teacher, and my daughter, 4 years ago, she's 9. So when we were going to wait for a while, I always had a lot of animals. I had 4 dogs. Okay, when I met my wife, I had 4 dogs and a cat, and they were just family. And so they passed away just through attrition. Just got old. The 2 last animals that passed away were wiener dogs, dachshunds. They were 18 and 19 years old, and I'd had them since they were 6 to 8 week old pups.
Wow.
Um, and so my daughter was lucky enough to be around those. And so when those dogs left, I mean, it was about when she was 3. There was a period of time when I was like, I really don't want to get a dog right now. I mean, I'd like to wait as long as we can, just because I'm done with it right now.
Yeah, our old
Uh,
beagle passed, and we had her for like 11 years, and she was already older. She was 3 or 4 years old when we got her, and man, everybody in my family just, it was like when she died, it was like, they lost one of the kids. I mean, and myself too. I still come home and kind of at the corner of my eye kind of look around for her because she always met me at the door. So those habits are still there. And so we said, that's it, no more. We don't want no more. We don't want our heart broke, because my wife had a cat for like 10 years that died within a couple of months of the dog, and that's kind of hard on her. And then we get this stray kitten. And so this little kitten, the thing wasn't even weaned yet. We were going to take it in, get it healthy, get its shots, give it away. Well, needless to say, here it is 3 years later, and this schizophrenic thing is still walking around the house over here. She's got
well,
9 lives, and 6 of them hear voices.
that's just because you're good people, man. I mean, well, we went a couple years, didn't get any animals. My wife finds a place here in the town that we live in that trains animals for um, therapy dogs, I guess is the best way to put it. Therapy dogs. And therapy dogs do a multitude of things, whether it is just be around you to be your companion, or whether it's to help you pick up something that you might drop and you're unable to pick it up anymore, keys, glasses. Um, some of the therapy dogs do diabetes. If you are about to have a attack and your insulin is low or high, the dog can sniff that, and they're trained to do that, and they let you know. And so before it happens, you as the person, you're able to take care of it because of the dog. So anyway, the dog that we got um, came from this place. When we picked her up, she was 6 months old. And at 6 months old, she had already been trained hand signals. You put your hand like that, she sits down. You put your hand like that, she lays down. 5 different commands that I could show you right now. And you didn't even need to use a word. The animals, it's amazing what they can do to help us and the way that we can train them.
Well, that old beagle was so trained. I'm that guy. I don't like the dog in the kitchen while we're eating. I don't like an animal begging at the table, because
Right.
I mean, you could look at this thing and tell she wasn't underfed. I mean, she was as big around as a basketball. So
Right.
she got to the point where I could take and go and point into the living room, and she would turn around and walk into the living room. I didn't even say anything. I could just point, hey, and just kind of, you know, point my finger into the living room. She'd drop her head like I just whooped her and turn around and slink into the living room. And yeah, very, very intelligent dog. I mean, and just
You,
became a family member.
I'm just going to say, you might be younger than me, but you sound like my papa when you say that, get out of here, just point it. Yeah. They had no tolerance. The animals are animals. Yeah, no, that was a
Yeah,
different day and age altogether. Our dog, she'll walk up to me. She'll put her chin on my leg while I'm eating, and I'll just look down at her and I'll say, Harley, it ain't happening. And then she turns her head like I've kicked her, and she walks back over and lays down and waits, because it's my daughter's job after we eat to feed her, and she
right.
knows. I mean, it's there's rules, and there I guess that's a good point. Um, as far as being a good person, a good citizen, I mean, animals. You need to have rules with your animals, just like your children, and you are responsible for your animal. I've got a next door neighbor that we've had a confrontation, and I'm curious to hear anybody's opinion as to the situation, the way I'm going to describe it. Um, my wife came and told me one day that my next door neighbor's dog came over in our yard and basically attacked our dog. Our dog, we have an electric fence, so she pretty much has a range that she's not going outside
With the
of.
little collar, or learned, that she's got her, what you got, one of those invisible fences things.
Correct. It's
Yeah, yeah.
exactly that. I mean,
I
the
got a buddy
battery
of
can be
mine
off.
trained his lab to that, and you couldn't drag that dog across that yard with a tow truck.
No, no. She doesn't want any part of that. She's had it more than once, and she doesn't like it. She will not take the shocking. She doesn't want it. But the other dog can run into our yard because we have no fence. So my wife tells me, the other dog came over and attacked our dog. And I just kind of thought it was nothing, really. So one day I'm working in my front yard. The next door neighbor, when I say the next door neighbor, I'm going to say young kid. This kid is probably 24. So the 24-year-old kid comes over, and he's like, I want to borrow your axe or what. I want to borrow an axe. Do you have one? Sure, go use it. It's down here in my garage. Walk in, get it, take it, use it. Later, he brings it back. Well, when he brings it back, he says, I want to tell you, our dogs don't like each other, and I just want you to know that. So when you're outside and you see our dogs out, you might keep an eye on them because they don't like each other. And I said, okay, man, thanks for letting me know. My wife had told me that your dog ran over here one night and our dogs fought, but no big deal. I'll keep an eye on it. So 30 minutes go by. I'm in the backyard of my house working, picking up tree branches or something along those lines. My dog is standing there right beside me, not looking at anything, and all of a sudden his dog comes running through and attacks my dog right there beside me. And so uh, I start yelling and kicking and screaming and doing whatever I might do. The dog leaves and the fight's over. So I walked down to the neighbor and I was like, come here, let me talk to you for a second. And I was like, the way I see things, your dog has a problem with my dog. It's not that my dog's doing anything. If your dog ever comes in my yard acting like that again, it's going to be hurt because I've got a young daughter, I've got a wife, and I'm not going to tolerate that. My dog was over here doing nothing, so I don't know what the problem is. And conversation, it didn't really escalate out of control, but the neighbor kid basically said, well, if your dog's ever in my yard, I'm going to do something to your dog too. That type of thing.
Treat yourself.
Which is fine, but that has nothing to do with the problem at hand. And since then, I've now gone to the dog warden people in my county where I live, found out all the rules. All the rules are on my side. If I needed to shoot the dog, I could shoot their dog. I mean, it's that simple. And the game warden, or not the game, I say the game warden because I'm thinking about killing their animal. That's not it. No. The animal control person came and went to their house and said, listen, here's the deal. You've had a dog that's been reported as vicious. If it goes over in his yard and he shoots it, there's nothing you can do. Just understand that. And I don't want to shoot anybody's dog, but I'm not going to have my wife or young child endangered by an aggressive animal. I don't care what that dog's problem is, what its owners think. It's none of my concern. My concern is my little domicile.
Well, the thing about a dog too, and a lot of folks don't realize it, is a dog, once it's aggressive and gets away with it, it emboldens it. It becomes more and more aggressive, and that's how they train these pit bulls to fight. Get them a little sparky, and then they back them off, and they reward them for being a little sparky, and then they get them a little bit sparkier, and pretty soon they're going to throw them in with another dog, and the winner gets to live. And so, and again, it's a reflection of the owner. It's not a reflection of the animal, because the animal only, it's like a child. If you teach your child to cuss at an early age, You can't wash its mouth out with soap because you taught it that. You know, so I mean, it's the same thing with the dog. You know, the dog's going to do what you tell it, what you let it do, what you allow it to do. And what kind of dog is it?
It I would say it's an Akita type mix. It's not a purebred dog of any kind, but its tail curls over its back, and it's a large breed. It's an Akita mix of some sort. So I
So
mean,
livestock during the apocalypse.
well,
I'm just saying.
yeah,
Tastes like chicken.
he's I've like I said, he came over in my yard the second time, and the dad was in the front yard, and I pulled my pistol out of my pocket, and I said, "Listen, I don't want to shoot your dog. Don't let this happen again." I was home at lunch, and I took my dog out to use the restroom, and she wasn't even looking at their animal, and it came and tried to attack her, and I had to intervene. And I don't want to shoot anybody's dog. I mean, but I'm not gonna, and I don't have to. I don't have to let anything that I have be attacked by any other thing. That's just the rules where I live. And I've gone to the trouble of finding that out. I've talked to the authorities and asked the questions.
Well, and you've documented the pattern of aggression there too. So then it's always important that you have a
And
track
that's
record. Yeah.
exactly. And I wanted to make that noted. And as all this went down, the next door neighbors called me, and I used language. I feel like you have an aggressive animal, and I don't know what to tell you to do about it, but you need to keep it away from my family or anything that I have over here.
So we're kind of getting down to the last few minutes of the chat, and would like to wrap up by close out. So remind everybody again about what's coming up next week.
Okay, next week we have Anderson Manufacturing is going to be on the chat. As far as the panel, I'm not sure who's going to be there. As from Anderson, Jeremy and maybe another person or two. The two guys that gave me the tour were Jeremy and John. They might both be on there. It's going to depend on their schedules, but they are definitely going to be here. They're looking forward to it. They appreciate us talking about their products, and so they're definitely going to be here.
Remember, Anderson Manufacturing, the official AR-15 of the AMFAW network. Want to remind everybody that video of the Anderson Manufacturing plant is up on the AMFAW channel right now, and there are other links in the description of that to go see some of their torture tests they've done on those weapons before they approved them for sale. I want to remind everybody to go see D. Will Hoyt, Kentucky Guns and Fun channel. He puts videos out constantly. I'll let you plug your own channel, David. Sorry. Skinny Medic, go see Skinny Medic. He's a working man, but we appreciate him being part of the AMFAW network. And he was going to be here tonight, but he couldn't get his shift switched around, and he's fighting a good fight. So go see Skinny Medic, and if you need a medical kit, he's the guy to buy it from. The Alabama Owens, still putting content out, still recycling some old content, still a very valid channel, worth giving a look at. Don't forget to go see the Jarhead 6 channel. Jarhead 6 couldn't make it tonight. Don't know why. He just couldn't make it. But he is putting content out constantly, and it is a wise man that takes advantage of free knowledge, and he will definitely put some in your ear. Make sure you go check out our other AMFAW network administrator, Budget Bugout. He constantly putting good content out too. Red Cross volunteer. Again, he'll stick some good information in your ear, and it won't hurt a bit. So on behalf of the AMFAW network, I'd like to thank you guys all for tuning in. Remember, go on Facebook and visit Tom Pollock at Mission Restore Bronze. That's Tom Pollock, Pawlak at Mission Restore Bronze on Facebook, and roll your sleeves up and go out there and restore a veteran's grave marker. It'll make you feel good. It'll do good for the family, and it's just a good social performance initiative. It's going to bring happiness to folks. So go do that. And on behalf of the AMFAW channel, all my friends are warriors.